Now it's time to send it over to our own Jesse Irwin, joined by a man who really needs no introduction. It's a former Olympic silver medalist, a middle distance record holder, and a former politician, as Jesse talks to Jim Ryan.
Well, this morning we are fortunate enough to be joined by a Presidential Medal of Freedom recipient, a Kansas native, track and field legend, and former U.S. Congressman, Mr. Jim Ryan. Mr. Ryan, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us this morning. Where are you joining us from this morning?
I'm from Washington, D.C.
And I know that, hearing impairment is something that's really important in helping those who are hearing impaired overcome the adversity of it. Can you sort of paint a picture of what your journey with hearing impairment has been like and how you've been able to help others?
Well, at a young age, approximately 5, I lost about half of my hearing as a result of a very, very high fever. It was not really picked up on at that point. I noticed in the classroom difficulty in hearing questions and listening and hearing the teacher. My family medical doctor would say that my hearing loss was fine. It really was normal, but it wasn't until we get into further, better hearing test me, I say, that it was discovered I had a loss. In fact, that's one thing I like to say to people. If you think you have a hearing loss, you probably do. Ask somebody near you, a friend, a relative, perhaps your spouse, and they'll confirm that you've got a loss. And then I would suggest a good quality hearing test. You might go to an audiologist, someone who can give you a good test to determine if you do have a hearing loss. And then, look for a good system. I happen to wear a phonic lyric. They're fabulous. They sit on top of the eardrum. They give crystal clear hearing, and it's improved the quality of my life enormously, and it will for those who choose to go this path.
What can we do to be helpful to those who are dealing with it? Because I know sometimes, it can be more than just speaking up. It can be using your hands when you're talking. I mean, I'm sure there's lots of different ways, but which ones have stuck out to you as sort of the best ways to be an advocate?
Well, I think one thing is to be sympathetic to them. If you feel that they've got a hearing loss, encourage them to get some assistance, first of all, and to look again for good testing and try and determine what the loss is. But, maybe get a little closer, speak a little more distinctly. And if you're not getting answers that are the correct answers that you think you should get, probably they have a hearing loss. So just encouraging them to, go into that area and explore what's available, what can help them.
Well, Mr. Ryan, we really appreciate you taking the time to join us this morning. When we come back, we're going to be speaking with Mr. Ryan about his career and about what he learned from serving political office and, of course, being a track and field legend. So we'll have more with Jim Ryan a little bit later in this morning when we return.